Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Kingdom Silver and today I'm really excited for the video and the presentation that I'm going to show you. It's called Gold and Silver versus the Dollar, a 50-year historical review. Really excited to get into the content today, so without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of this video. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and watching this silver short. As always, while I am a licensed CPA, I am not a financial advisor. Please do not take anything said in this video as financial advice. Take control of your own financial freedom, your financial future. Do your research, take the information here, look into it, consult your own personal financial advisor, and make the decision that is best for you and your family. With that, let's get into the rest of the video. Okay, so as the title would suggest, today we are going to look back at gold and silver versus the dollar over a 50-year period. And I got this idea because I think it's very important for us to look at the historical context of gold and silver versus the dollar and see what we can learn from that. So I wanted to just break down a couple of the data sources that I had. It's really tricky to get data for 50 years on some of the areas that we're going to be looking at, but using the FRED database, which is the Federal Reserve Economic Data from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, I was able to get the average food price, average price per gallon, average sale price of a house, and using investing.com, I was able to get the gold and silver spot price per year. And then I used the Social Security Administration to get the national wage average. So we're going to be looking at all of these numbers, comparing them to gold and silver and the dollar, and see where they stack up. Now, the caveats to this is, to match up the data, I did have to supplement some of my sources. It was usually just a year or two, but I would need to, a couple places, look at some news or articles or other websites to try and really hone in the data for the years that I was missing. So some examples of these sources that I used include TitleMax, U.S. Gold Bureau, etc., so on and so forth. And I also think when doing something like this, it's really important to define expectations. So my expectation was that gold over the last 50 years should do pretty well against the dollar. Silver, not so much. I felt like silver was going to struggle a little bit. And so with this, I've been able to put together some graphs and we're going to compare them. So let's get into it. The first thing that we're going to be looking at is the purchase of a home. So what you're seeing here is the ounces of gold it takes to purchase a home, the ounces of silver it takes to purchase a home, and the year's salary to purchase a home. And as you can see here, gold is actually pretty flat. We're looking at probably around 225 ounces of gold to purchase a home. And, in 2024, really hasn't changed that much. However, silver, it's a little bit different story. You're seeing that as of 1974, it was just under 10,000 ounces of silver to purchase a home. Today, that's above 20,000. So there's definitely been a huge spike in silver. Now, down here is a little bit different graph, and what this is showing is, okay, based on the average salary that somebody made in 1974 as compared to today, 2024, how much salary does it take to purchase a home? So as you can see, in 1974, it's right around 5 years to purchase that home, whereas now in 2024, it's over 7 years of salary that you would have to save up to purchase a home outright. Next, we're going to go to purchasing food. So in all of these, you've got gold, ounces of silver, and also down at the bottom, dollars percentage to purchase food. And again, this is on a monthly bill. So not necessarily just, one trip to the grocery store, but how much are you going to pay monthly? So as we can see with gold, this was around, 3/10 of an ounce or so. And that's really dropped down in 2024. You're looking at around, let's say 15 ounces, or sorry, 1.15, I'm sorry, ounces to purchase your food bill. Silver, it's actually stayed, relatively flat, gone up a little bit, probably around 12.5 ounces of silver in 1974 for your monthly bill. That's gone up to about 15 ounces for your monthly bill, but again, pretty close. Now, if we look at the dollars to purchase food, we've seen a percentage decrease for sure. We're showing at about 8.25%, all the way down to, let's see here, it's roughly just under 6% of your monthly bill. Now, this is something I'd be curious, because there has been several studies that have come out about the purchase power of the dollar declining, and I do believe that that's the case, and I was curious to see that, I didn't really notice that when I was doing the numbers. So this could be very much a flaw in how I set up the data. As I'm sure many people know, you can get data to really tell you whatever you want it to. So it could be possible that some of my indicators weren't the best. But regardless, that's what I came up with. The next thing we're going to be looking at is purchasing gas. And so the first two up top are, okay, how many ounces does it take to purchase a 12 gallons worth of gas, which that's my tank. If you're wondering the number, that's why, because for my vehicle, it's 12 gallons to fill up. And then the bottom one for dollar is the amount of each paycheck it takes to buy gas. So as we look at gold, it's definitely gone down. You're looking at 0.05 ounces all the way down to 0.02. Silver's actually stayed pretty flat. We're probably at about 1.75 and maybe a smidge up in 2024, but over the last 50 years, silver's been pretty consistent with the price of gas. Now, if we look at the amount of your paycheck each month to buy gas, you can see that has gone down according to these numbers. You're looking at, about 2.5% roughly of your paycheck to buy gas. That's gone down to about 1.5% in 2024. And the last one that we're going to be looking at is ounces to paycheck. So this is of your biweekly paycheck. How many ounces of gold and silver does it take to basically get that average? So if you look here at gold, you're looking at just under 2 ounces. So every time that the average American gets paid a biweekly paycheck, that would be the equivalent of around 2 ounces of gold in 1974. That's actually dropped down to under 1.5 ounces. That's probably like 1.25 ounces in 2024. So gold has definitely gone up in value compared to the dollar when it comes to your paycheck. Silver, not so much. If we look in 1974, you were probably around 75 ounces of silver for your weekly paycheck. If we look in 2024, we're looking at roughly, let's say, 110 to 115 ounces of silver for each bi-weekly paycheck. So what are the conclusions from going through this exercise? And I think it's a really good exercise to go through because, there were some things that I did expect and there were some things that were expected. So honestly, gold and silver didn't fare as well as I thought it might, and especially where I was seeing the dollar. Now, again, I'd have to go back and look at my sources. It's possible that doing this exercise, I didn't factor in, the purchasing power of the dollar very well. However, I think context in this is key. So let's just go back and look at some of these numbers. If you look at times of uncertainty, when the economy was really struggling, so 1980 being the biggest one, look at the graph here for gold and silver. Just see it is at its lowest, absolute lowest point. What was another huge area of economic uncertainty? 2012. Look at it here for both gold and silver. That is some of the best value that you can get. And actually, if you look at any of these graphs, and I'll just scroll through them slowly here so that you can see, you can, in all the situations, see that the gold-silver ratio to whether it's purchasing gas, whether it's purchasing a house, purchasing your groceries, or your paycheck, it's most valuable in times of economic uncertainty. And so, while in general, I don't feel like gold and silver held up as well against the dollar as I was expecting. Again, context is very key that in times of economic uncertainty, which I believe that we're going to go into, it's very, very important, I believe, to own some gold and silver. Now, again, I'm not a personal financial advisor. Please do your own research, make the decision that makes the most sense for you and your family. Seeing the data, I can say that I am encouraged and that gold and silver are very valuable in times of uncertainty. Also, I would say that this period of time that I chose, because it's really, really hard to get economic data older than 50 years, just getting 50 years of data was really hard for me to pull off. From what I am seeing in this, this is a period of time where we were off the gold and silver standard, off the gold standard. So honestly, for gold and silver to be doing this well, considering that it's, not, none of the governments are backing their money in gold and silver, I think it's a testament to how valuable it is. So has my opinion changed? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. My opinion has not changed. I think it's still important to diversify, and I think that gold and silver are a valuable tool to use against inflation, a very valuable tool to preserve your wealth. So that'll be it for today's video. A little bit longer, but I hope that this deep dive and comparison, it took me a little bit to come up with this. I hope that it serves some value for you to see a historical perspective. And I think it's important to show everything in its entirety, because there was some things, again, that, if first blush didn't look as hot for gold and silver. However, by looking at history, we can know what to expect and maybe what to expect going forward. So with that, hope you enjoyed the video. Be blessed. Be a blessing to others. We'll see you later.